What's up guys, Nocturnal Garage here. I figured I'd just do a quick tutorial on my method of cleaning parts because I am taking like mounting brackets and you know, the alternator bracket, power steering pump, etc. off my old KA and putting them on my new KA. So I figured I'd just show you guys my method on how I clean them. Just maybe you guys can learn something from it. It's kind of a cheap method because I don't have like a solvent tank or a parts cleaner in my garage, and I'd imagine a lot of us don't. I do have one at work, but I like doing stuff at the house. I don't know, it's just, I don't know, I'm more comfortable just working at home because I can do it at my own pace. I don't got to rush on like a lunch break to kind of hurry up and tidy up stuff. I can just take my time and do it my way, you know, slow, and make sure everything's detailed the way that I like it. But yeah, I'll show you how I detail my parts, and doing it this way you can actually get almost all the grime off the parts that's accumulated over the course of however many years, and actually get it ready for paint if you wanted to paint them or if you wanted to powder coat them, whatever. So let's go ahead and I'll show you guys how I detail my parts real quick. Alright guys, so I just got like a little cleaning station mocked up. I just got like a plastic tote lid on top of just a little trash can. Just because I don't want to get my work table, you know, covered in oil and stuff. But for the example on how I clean my parts, I'm going to be actually doing the alternator bracket for the KA. This is the lower bracket that the alternator actually is bolted onto. So I figured I'd use this as an example. This is what this one looks like. I've already cleaned it. As you can see, there's not any grime on here whatsoever. You can see that the paint's kind of come off with some patina over the years. I would really like to kind of paint it the same color that I did my timing cover, which is a high temp silver. But I just, you know, I don't really have the money to do that at the moment, so I'd rather spend the money on parts for the motor itself. So I'll go ahead and show you, you know, my method of cleaning and how, you know, I get all the grime off there. So these parts on the KAs usually get pretty grimy, as you can tell. So this is like a before. You can see all the grime in there, and then this is what it looks like after I go ahead and detail it. So what I like to do is I'll have a really dirty shop towel, and I'll also have my surface, obviously. I'll put this down, you know, the part that I want to clean down. And what I like to use is gunk engine degreaser. In fact, I'm running out here, so hopefully I can get this all done for you guys. What I like to do is I just spray it on there pretty good, you know, kind of cake this stuff on there, and then let it sit for about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, so it can have the time to break away all that grime that's on there. Other tools that I like to use for stuff like this is I'll have a brush. I like using brass because I find that the metal ones actually can really beat the heck out of stuff. So I use brass, and I'll have two of them. So this one is the one for the initial scrubbing. So like when it's wet, I'll use this one. And then I also have another one that I use for touching up so I don't just spread grime everywhere. So I like to use these little brass brushes. You can get them at like Harbor Freight and stuff. And then for bolts, you can also do this for bolts. What I like to do is if it's a bolt like this that has like a part that does not have threads on it, I'll take vice grips and go ahead and clamp them on there. And then I'll actually dip it in this stuff that's already been used in the background here. And it doesn't really matter that it's already been used because it still contains the compound, and it's still potent enough to get the grime off of there. What I like to do also, like I said, I got two brushes. I'll usually brace it up against and just go like this, and just to clean out the edges. And I do use brass for this as well. And I'll slowly work my way up the bolt. I'll kind of get the washers as well. For the threads, I'll kind of just be gentle with it and just kind of run it up and down, kind of clean out the threads so they can go in smoothly. But yeah, I'll check back in with you guys once this has had a time to sit for a little bit, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, it's been about 10 minutes and I've let this sit here and kind of have a chance to break down all the grime that's on there. And what I like to do is get, like I said, the first brush, and I'll just scrub it around, kind of get the grime off there, the big chunks, and just kind of, you gotta put on a little bit of elbow grease. You don't gotta go too hard, but definitely with a little bit of force. And it doesn't really matter that you're spreading it around at this point, because what you're doing is you're just kind of deteriorating those larger chunks of grime. So I'll just go in here and kind of brush it off all over the place, getting these gaps here, like right here, just kind of rotate it around in a circle, especially up against these parts here where it meets the part that the alternator gets bolted into. Just kind of get in there, a little bit of force, kind of clean it off. You don't have to go too crazy with it. And then, as you saw earlier, I only sprayed the front of it. And that's because you'll get it on the brush itself and go over to the back. And since it's on the brush, it'll still break away all the grime that's on the back of this this bracket. And then also you can just dip it and stuff that's in the background here. Kind of use that to go over it. Just use a little bit of force, like I said, not too much. You don't gotta press down super hard. You can just slowly get in there and kind of work it all loose. And then this little crevice here as well. Just go around in a circle, kind of as if you're buffing something. Get the edges as well. Slowly work your way around, and breaking off all those larger chunks of grime. And then what I also have over here is a couple shop towels, some microfibers. Microfibers are more for cleaning off my gloves so I don't spread it around everywhere, but with these shop towels, they're pretty inexpensive, and you can actually go to your dry cleaner, and not dry cleaner, but a laundromat, get them cleaned up. I don't recommend cleaning them in your own washing machine. But just like that, you can see that I've kind of just worked my way around it with the brush. And here I have a pretty dirty shop towel, but over here I've got a clean one as well. I'll show you what I do with the clean one. But first, take this dirty shop towel, just kind of go around and dry all the degreaser off. While you're doing this, it's also carrying the grime to the towel. So that's why I recommend also having a towel that's, you know, not as greasy as this one. So have like 2 towels, but just go around, kind of gather up all this stuff onto this shop towel. And then once you dry it off, you can actually see the parts that need to be hit a little bit more. And then you can also just, once again, just go over it with the stuff that's already on the surface you're working on. You can reuse it, so you're not wasting your cans up. You just go through, dry it off, get all those big chunks off of there. And also, I like to use the trash can because it's got this edge here, so I can, all the big chunks I can kind of wipe off onto there. So that's what it's looking like at the moment, after you've wiped it off a little bit. So now we're going to go through and just hit it again. This time it's going to be a little bit more dry. And if you do take off a lot of paint, because sometimes the paint can get so aged that it'll just come right off as you're scrubbing. At that rate, if it does that, I would recommend either, you know, powder coating it or getting some engine paint. Just kind of spraying it over there, or respraying it so you don't have a rust issue going on. Yeah, just hit it again. the brush, and then use this same towel, go over it one more time. Just kind of run your fingers around, try to break away a lot. And this is, it's only been at this one, maybe 20 minutes now. Sorry guys, I got a phone call there, but I'm back. But yeah, just keep going around it, drying off this stuff, and if it's got crevices like here, you can actually just tap it on the ground after you've run your brush through there, or even your finger will work. And just kind of get those big chunks out, and then just smack it up against the ground a few times. And I'll get those larger chunks broken out of those areas. But yeah, just keep going over it with the rag. And then once you feel like it's been dried up enough, you can actually either hit it with more degreaser and go over it again. But if you're content with the results, which this one's starting to look pretty good already, you can take another rag, a cleaner rag. Let me see. Where did I put that other one? Like right here, I got another rag, so it's not as black. It's a little bit cleaner. And then I'll just go over it with this one. And then, like I said, 2 wire brushes. This one's a little bit cleaner. I'll just go over it real quick. Kind of scrub it down. Scotch-Brite works really well for this as well, but I currently do not have any Scotch-Brite because when I brought my toolbox back to the shop that I'm working at, it was inside my drawer, so I forgot to take it out. So that kind of sucks, but Scotch-Brite works pretty good for getting all that stuff out as well. You don't have to use a brush if you got some pretty, the rougher feeling Scotch-Brite will do just as good of a job, but I currently don't have any of that, so I'm just using my wire brushes. Now with your rag, you can kind of go through and dry it up a little bit. And for these holes, there's going to be grime in these holes as well. Let me get a focus here. There's going to be grime in these holes as well. So what I like to do is take a rag, take the corner of the rag like this, go in there, kind of work its way through. If whatever you're cleaning's got holes in it. You can also use Q-tips and kind of just work your way through until it starts poking out the other side. If you can get a grip on it, just pull it through like that, and then just yank it back out. You can see it shining now. So that's that. That's how I detail my parts, and as you can see, that's a huge improvement from what we had before. I haven't put as much time into this one as I did this one, but you know, that's what it looks like, and I'm not sure if you guys remember what it looked like before, but I can kind of put a snapshot comparison, maybe a side-by-side in the video for you. But yeah, that's all I do to clean my parts and really give all my external parts the kind of a glossy shine. Once again, just some gunk engine degreaser. I like the gel. I don't like the it's like a aerosol-y water-based kind of stuff. The gel, it's thicker. I feel like it works better, especially when you're using the brush to kind of break it all away. I feel like it doesn't break down the compound as quickly, so I like to use the gel. And then, like I said, just some wire brushes or Scotch-Brite, and then have a couple rags handy. And always wear gloves when you do this, because this stuff, if you have sensitive skin, is a pretty big skin irritant. Not only that, even if you don't have sensitive skin, your hands will smell like this degreaser for a long time. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys, like my method. And if you have a method, go ahead and share in the comments section below. And You know, I do like to be open-minded towards other people's methods of doing things and kind of learn and try it out for myself and see what best suits me. But yeah, that's how I clean my parts. Thanks for tuning in, and if you like my content, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe, you could also, you know, keep up to date on my future content as well. Thanks for tuning in to Nocturnal Garage. You all have a good one.